Somebody who is going through the educational path. Tonight will be David. David is delivering tonight his very, very first speech since he became a member. We call that an icebreaker. The purpose of this speech is basically just go up here to the front and don't shit your pants, because it's your very first speech. Yeah. So it is basically to get to know David a little better, and he will tell us a story about himself. He has around 4 to 6 minutes, and we have Amy, who is the evaluator of her. So please help me welcome David and Nina.
Thanks for the introduction. Shake hands. Can everybody hear me at the back?
Yes!
I'm not a microphone kind of person. Don't start the clock yet, okay? So, who are you? Sorry, no, who am I? It's my icebreaker. He said the other word, I can say icebreaker, right? So who am I? My name is David James Helliwell. David after my uncle David on my father's side. James after my grandfather, and Helliwell, obviously my father's name. But that's not who I am, that's just my name. I didn't get to pick it. Somebody else give me the name. Hey, this is serious. So, I was born in 1966 in the northwest of England, a small textile mill town and farming community. Pretty much like a kampong in Indonesia is now, to be honest. Everybody was poor, everybody had to work hard, you don't have any choice. You know, if you're born in a poor rural area, you have to work. But everybody was honest, everybody was hard-working, all the doors were open, everybody knew the neighbours, friendly. So it was magic, it was magic. Both my parents, they worked, obviously, because no choice. So when they were at work, I'd get dropped off at my grandparents' farm, and that's magic. All the other cousins, neighbours, kids, different farms, animals, cats, dogs, chickens, cows. It was a dairy farm. At one time, I had a horse. Not for long though, it was a crazy horse. They told me they'd give it to the police to train, but actually later I found out that it was put to sleep because it was a crazy horse. So that was preschool. But that's also not who I am. That's where I was born. Again, no choice. So going back to when I was 5 or 6, or whenever you start school, that's actually what started to define me, because I really didn't like it. I didn't like it that much. I kicked and screamed and cried. My mother couldn't or wouldn't take me to school, so my father had to have time off work and take me to school because I just didn't like the 4 walls after being on a farm and freedom. So that was a defining moment, because I didn't like not having freedom. And then I had another challenge when I started school. I didn't actually learn to read and write till I was 10. I had some kind of learning difficulty. I'm not sure what it was. So that was a challenge. But then when I did learn to read and write, I aced all the exams. I was top of the class for 2 or 3 years in everything apart from English. Didn't see the point in that because it was English. That was okay for a couple of years, and then I got bored, wasn't interesting, too easy, so I became one of the class clowns. Luckily there was a lot of class clowns in my school. So that was part of my school life. At the same time though, I got a great love of sports, but not the normal English guy sports. I hated football, cricket, but I swam for the school. I played water polo, then I swam for the town. I swam internationally in Holland, lost every race, but we had a right lot of fun. That was pretty good. Where are we up to? Sorry. I couldn't wait to leave school, actually. And I was lucky. My friend's brother, he was a welder, and he travelled the world, and he'd come back and tell me and Kevin all these stories. He went to Africa, went to Malta, come back, he's got loads of money, he's got the war stories. So I got an apprenticeship as a welder when I was 15. I left school at 15 because I couldn't wait. I got an apprenticeship, and that I enjoyed because I learned new things and how to build really big things, and it was a magic time. As soon as I got my trade papers when I was 20, I managed to get a job in Germany. Wiedersehen Pet, me, before the TV series. I don't know if anyone's old enough to remember that, but I went working in Germany. Fantastic 20-year-old kid. Looking back, I didn't actually know anything, but just put myself out there to get it. But I've always carried on my education in subjects that I like. I've been faithful to continued and never-ending education. At one point, I got up to about in the top 40 in my profession in the world, so I'm pretty up there. I then did some lecturing. I actually lectured to 18 PhD holders, not for 10 minutes like this, for 5 days. 5 8-hour days lecturing to 18 PhDs, and my goodness, they asked some weird questions. At the beginning, first couple of times I'd get them to explain, whatever you do, never, ever, ever ask a PhD to explain something. In the end, I'd just make something up that seemed relevant to whatever subject I was delivering, and don't give them a chance to make it even more complicated. They all thought I was a doctor, I'm a welder. So that was probably my academic claim to fame. Okay, so what I'd like to do now is say I'm 51 years old, I'm a free thinker, but I don't really know who I am, but I'm still looking. I'm still looking inside who I am. So I'll leave it with this question: who are you? Do you know who you are? Thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you. That's one of our ways to be encouraging. For the very first speech, we give somebody a standing ovation, just for being encouraging, being grateful for sharing something very personal. And in this case, it was very personal, from childhood, through going to school, through different challenges.